Yesterday I made a video about the news of Steven Spielberg being hired to direct Blackhawk, or produce Blackhawk. He hasn't said he's going to direct it, but he's going to be involved in the movie for DC Comics, based on the old World War II fighter pilots. And I and other YouTubers and a lot of people speculated that because it takes place in the 40s, that this could be the way that DC could introduce characters from the Justice Society. That classic super team in the 40s in DC Comics history that has Golden Age versions of The Flash, Green Lantern, and Dr. Fate. And one of the members of the Justice Society who later became a member of the Justice League is Hawkman, a character whom I had read articles, saying DC had wanted or thought about doing a movie about him in the past. And maybe this would be a good way to lay the groundwork to introduce him in the 1940s and, have him back then and then have him come to the present day, because Hawkman in the comics is all about reincarnation and dying and coming back. He has a very convoluted backstory. And they've actually, mentioned one of the cities I think he was associated with was like Opal City or Hub City. And that was the city that Suicide Squad took place in. When they went on that mission to stop the Enchantress, they went to the city that Hawkman has had a lot of his, crimes and adventures based out of. So, I think Hawkman has been on DC and Warner Brothers' mind, but they just haven't been able to make him. So maybe now, if they do a Blackhawks movie, they can introduce him in the 40s and have him come to today. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'll give an abbreviated, history of Hawkman. He has a very, like I said, complicated backstory that DC has tried to simplify and redo over their different reboots and over incarnations over the years. But basically, his name is Carter Hall, the Earth version of Hawkman, who has been reincarnated multiple times throughout the centuries, along with Shira Hall. That's Hawkgirl's real name, also sometimes called Hawkwoman. But there's also another version of Hawkman where he's a space cop from the planet Thanagar. And, he somehow winds up having adventures here on Earth and outer space. And he gets mixed up in cosmic adventures with the Green Lanterns and Adam Strange and other people. And we all know that DC is going to be exploring their cosmic universe with the New Gods, announced with Ava DuVernay. I don't know when that movie's coming out. But this could be a way to link him to the cosmic universe too, because he's associated with that as well. And so is Hawkgirl. Now, different revisions and continuity, changes have blended the whole outer space cop with the whole Egyptian Thanagarian, the whole Egyptian guy being reincarnated on Earth a bunch of times. I haven't read a lot of classic Hawkman stories, so I don't know exactly how they wrote connecting those two. But basically, that's Hawkman's, very broad overview of his backstory. It's a lot more complicated than that. And he's a character who was associated with the Justice League in the 40s, so they could introduce him in like a 40s adventure in the Blackhawks and have that be, the first time we see Hawkman or see him mentioned, and then later on, do a movie about him. And we know, if you watch Justice League Unlimited, Hawkgirl also showed up in there, and she was one of the major characters in the Justice League cartoon series. This could be how they introduce her, both of them. But they'll probably do Hawkman first, because he, in the comics, is the bigger character, the one who's usually been the star of the Hawkman book. But what do you think? Are you ready for Hawkman? Do you want him? And do you think that Blackhawks could lay the groundwork to introduce him and other classic characters from the 40s? Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, because I appreciate your viewership. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.